When you hear instructional coaching, you might think it's focused on the teacher, but student-centered coaching is laser focused on impacting student learning. It's a powerful partnership between the teacher and coach. In this partnership, the coach and teacher will reflect on questions like, what is our learning target? Who met today's learning target? And what did we do to make that happen? In a coaching partnership, the teacher and coach meet to clarify the learning goals for students at the start of the unit. Throughout the unit, they co-plan lessons at least once a week in preparation for co-teaching in the classroom. During each planning session, the teacher and coach clearly define the learning target and their roles during the lesson, and determine ways to make student thinking visible through ongoing formative assessment in order to make instructional decisions.
So our recent coaching focus has been using a number line to add numbers. What was it that you noticed the students doing and saying that made you want to reach out for a coaching cycle?
Our really awesome math talk showed me that some of the students were struggling being able to add coins. Majority of them, they could tell us the value of the coins, but they struggled putting it together without major support. And I also noticed we gave an assessment that the students had to determine the value of a group of coins, and majority of the students did not do well. I only had 45% of my students reaching proficiency on that skill.
So we started with the end in mind, and we went back to our standards.
We decided on standard 2.22, which states students should create and use a number line to represent whole number sums and differences. We also decided on standard 2.24, which states students should be able to solve problems with money. Since my students absolutely love counting collection day, that's where we decided that we were going to use counting collections, a routine that they know and they love, with coins.
And I like that we decided to use the counting collection routine because we're always trying to emphasize that growth mindset. So we're taking something that we naturally do and we're very good at it and we can demonstrate it. So let's take that to solidify an understanding that might not be as solid.
It really helps my students too, the ones that aren't as brave, my students that are more quiet. They are able to take the routine that they know very, very well, and they're able to use that skill to apply it to different things.
And then after we figured out that our coaching goal was going to be that the students would use a number line to demonstrate the value of a collection of coins, we started with the end in mind, and we broke down that goal into different I can statements. We used the AMSTI proficiency scales to help us come up with those I can statements, and we also used the ACAP item descriptors and the item specifications so we could really be very intentional about what we were asking the students to do.
My students love their proficiency skill, or as they call it, the bike skill.
I do think the students respond well to them. I respond well to them.
Yeah, I feel like it motivates them because they want to try their best to make sure that they're reaching their goals and meeting what they need.
What have the students said and written throughout this coaching cycle experience that lets you know that the students will then take this knowledge and continue to carry it with them?
I've noticed that my students during our RAM talks and just in daily discussion that they're able to have the confidence to own their learning. These students took what they knew about place value from previous counting collections and they're able to apply it to counting collections with coins.
When the students saw those I can statements, do you think that they naturally make the connection to the proficiency scale?
I think they do. I think they relate knowing that all of these goals, that is what they're needing to meet in order to be proficient in that skill.
In a counting collection, the teacher and coach collect evidence of student thinking by observing students and asking questions as they organize and count their collections. Teachers also collect work samples from the students' recording of their collections. Usually the teacher and coach will use a noticing and naming tool or another observation form to collect evidence of student thinking in real time. When formatively assessing student understanding, we want to focus on what our students are doing, saying, and writing, so we have access to student thinking to provide support and advance student learning. After the lesson, when the teacher and coach meet to sort and analyze student work, they will use student evidence from the lesson to reflect on the instructional practices that impacted student learning and to co-plan their next instructional steps to meet the needs of all students. The teacher and coach will use proficiency skills to clarify their expectations for student learning and to support student growth throughout the learning journey.
So today was the first opportunity that the students had to use the bike scale themselves. So are you ready to see what they did with their work?
I am. I have my student samples here.
All right. What is it that you want to focus on? Because we have 5 I can statements. One of them we haven't really focused on, yet. We just know that that is one of the expectations according to the ACAP item specs. Do you want to focus on the other 4 components?
Yes, I would like to focus on the first 4. The first one stating that the student create a drawing to represent the value of the collection of coins. The second one stating that the student can precisely label the representation with the cent sign. The third one stating that the student can demonstrate on a number line how the coin values are added. And the fourth one that they mark and label the number line with proportional spaces. Looking at student one's work, I noticed that they created a representation of their coin collection. I see their quarters, nickels, dimes, pennies.
And they used the cent sign.
They did, so they accurately labeled it.
All right, so now we're going to go to the bottom here to use their number line to determine the value of their coin collection. What do you notice?
I noticed that they did show their jumps. They showed the value of the jump. So like, for example, they put a quarter right here, then they made a jump of 25. The only thing that I'm seeing really is an issue is the spacing.
The proportional spacing on the number line? And do you notice that this student went all the way off the number line? How can we get him to understand that it takes 4 hops of 25 to make $1? How can we help him identify benchmark numbers?
I guess we could show him that this number line, we could say it represents $1. So we could even take this paper maybe and fold it. And then ask him, so if this represents $1, what would half of that be? So we could show him that. And then even we could do fourths.
You could half the half.
Yeah. And show him maybe the different spaces.
So that way it might help him to proportionally make a hop and that he wouldn't run out of room on the bottom.
Because I'm even saying like looking at this number line, it should go to 50 about right in the middle, but his is getting right at 35. So those jumps are way too big to be able to fit all of that.
Right, and giving him the tools to then correct it moving forward. All right, so would you say that he's a level 2.5?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna mark it. I'll keep track of it on our student work rubric. All right, so for the remaining student work, do you wanna just do a quick sort since that's what we typically do during our coaching sessions?
Yes.
So a quick sort is when we try and sort the student work within 1 or 2 minutes so that we can get a quick read on what the students were able to do, and then at the end of the day, we will do a further sorting to talk about misconceptions and identify some similarities or how we want to proceed for the next day. So for this, since the end goal is for them to utilize the number line proportionally, is that where you want to do your quick sort?
Yes.
Okay.
No. That one is not proportional.
Not proportional.
Not proportional.
Since that seems to be the main area of focus is just not being proportional, I wonder if we need to just tell all of the students and show them how to fold the paper to make half, and then how to half the halves to make quarters, because it will inadvertently lay the foundation for their fractional understanding in 2nd grade, which is just halves and fourths. Also, because we've talked about how it takes 4 quarters to make $1, so that 1 quarter is a quarter, without telling them that that means 1/4.
I agree with that. And I think it would be beneficial to do it for the whole group because all of the students seem to not get that part, and then assess them again and then see how they do after that.
Right. I think the folding of the paper is a great place to start, and then we can become more precise on if this is your hop of 25 cents, can you fit 2 hops of 10? And then half of a hop of 10 in there for 25 cents.
Because the teacher and coach have partnered to create the student-friendly proficiency skill used in the classroom, which some students lovingly call their bike skills, they are able to provide students with feedback and support students' self-reflection about their next steps. We know through educational research and firsthand experience that providing immediate feedback and promoting opportunities for student self-reflection are both exceedingly powerful tools to move student learning forward. At the end of the unit, the teacher and coach will administer a post-assessment that mirrors the pre-assessment they administered at the start.
So now that we've done our quick sort, let's celebrate all of the amazingness that we saw the students perform.
I noticed that every single student got their total correct.
They did, every single one of them.
And they were all able to use the number line to put their values on.
And there was at one time, before we had gotten here, we were still using number lines that we created, which, and we know on the proficiency scale is a level 2. So we wanted to get them to create the number line themselves.
I even noticed all of the students, the ones that labeled the coins, they put the correct coin name. They all put the cent sign, so they were all accurately labeling the value of the coins. Which that's a big difference. I mean, at the beginning we were missing the coin name, some of them were forgetting the cent sign.
Yeah, so there's so much to celebrate, and I want to make sure that we let the students know that there's so much to celebrate, and that as a class, the next focus will be on maybe folding the paper to find a benchmark, possibly even using your 120 bead Rec and Rec to show them that the size of 25 beads and how that looks on a number line.
I think that'll be beneficial too, so they can look at the 25 and see exactly how much bigger it is than a value of 10 or a value of 5.
Kind of
Or value
connecting what we did with the number path to a more concrete representation without having beads all over the place. Because at the end of the day, that's not what we want them to do, but to help make that connection. You just keep up the good work, ma'am.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without you.
This constant collection of data keeps the coaching partnership grounded in student learning and helps the teacher and coach reflect on how their partnership positively impacts the students they serve.